You can only take one. Choose now. The man didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You can only take one, he said. The words hung in the air like a sentence no one could escape. Dust swirled slowly across the ground. The two children stood side by side, holding each other's hands, so tightly their fingers turned pale. No, the smaller one whispered. Please don't separate us. The older child shook his head quickly, pulling the little one closer. We stay together, he said, voice trembling. No matter what. The man smirked. That's not how this works. The cowboy stood a few feet away, silent, still, but his eyes had already changed. Cold, focused. What kind of choice is that? He asked. The man turned to him slowly. The only kind that matters, he replied. One lives, one doesn't. The air froze. Even the wind seemed to stop. The cowboy's jaw tightened. Behind him, a few townspeople watched, but no one stepped forward. No one spoke. Fear had already made their decision for them. Why? The cowboy asked. The man shrugged. Because I can. The children's breathing grew faster. The smaller one looked up at the cowboy, eyes filled with tears. Please, he whispered, don't let him take my brother. The older child shook his head again. No, he said quickly. Take me instead. Silence. The cowboy looked at them both. Two lives, one impossible choice. The man stepped forward. Time's up, he said. Choose. The cowboy didn't move, didn't answer. For a moment, it felt like even time itself was waiting. Then he finally spoke, and what he said next made everyone freeze. The cowboy didn't raise his voice. He didn't even look angry. Neither, he said. Silence. The man frowned. What? I'm not choosing, the cowboy repeated calmly. The wind picked up again, dust swirling between them. The man let out a short laugh. That wasn't one of the options. The cowboy's eyes didn't move. Then your options are wrong. A murmur spread through the small crowd. The children held on to each other tighter. Hope just a little flickered in their eyes. The man's expression darkened. You think this is a game? He said. You don't choose. I choose. The cowboy tilted his head slightly. Go ahead. The confidence in his voice hit differently. The man hesitated for a second, just a second, but it was enough. Take the smaller one, he ordered. The younger child gasped. No, he cried, clutching his brother. The older one stepped forward instantly. Take me instead, he shouted. He won't survive without me. The man smirked again. That's not how it works. Two men stepped forward to grab the child, but before they could touch him, high voltage click. The sound cut through everything. The cowboy's gun, already drawn, already aimed. No one moves, he said quietly. The air snapped. The men froze mid-step. The crowd went silent again. The man slowly turned back toward the cowboy. You really want to do this? He asked. The cowboy didn't blink. You already did. A pause. Long. Heavy. Then the man smiled. Slowly. Dangerously. You're outnumbered, he said. The cowboy's grip tightened slightly. Maybe, he replied. Then his eyes shifted, not to the men, but to the people behind him, watching, waiting, afraid. And suddenly, the moment wasn't just about two children anymore. It was about everyone. The cowboy didn't look at the men. He looked at the town, at the people standing behind him, watching, waiting, but doing nothing. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried. How long are you all going to stand there? He asked. Silence. No one moved. No one answered. The man laughed softly. See, he said, they already chose. The cowboy's eyes hardened. No, he said quietly. They're just scared. A woman in the crowd lowered her gaze. An old man clenched his fists. But still, no one stepped forward. The children trembled beside him. The younger one whispered, "Please don't let them take him." The cowboy took a slow breath, then said something different, not to the men, to the people. "If it was your child," a pause, "would you still stay quiet?" The words hit hard. A man shifted. Another looked away. A woman wiped tears from her eyes. The silence wasn't the same anymore. It wasn't empty. It was breaking. The leader noticed. His smile faded slightly. "Don't listen to him," he snapped. "This doesn't concern you." But it did, and for the first time, they felt it. A single step forward. Just one. Then another. Then two more. The cowboy didn't turn around. But he knew. The fear was cracking. The man's jaw tightened. "You think this changes anything?" he said. The cowboy finally looked back at him. "Yes," he said. Simple, certain, because now he wasn't alone. The children looked up, hope growing stronger. The men hesitated, just for a second. But that second changed everything. Because once fear starts breaking, it doesn't stop. The tension snapped. The leader's face hardened. "Enough," he said coldly. His hand moved toward his gun. Big mistake. High voltage draw. Bang! The shot echoed through the street. The leader's gun flew out of his hand, spinning into the dust. Gasps filled the air. The cowboy stood still, gun steady, eyes locked. "I said," he repeated quietly, "no one moves." The other men froze, hands halfway to their weapons, uncertain now, because this time it wasn't fear they saw in front of them. It was control. The children clung to each other behind him. The younger one buried his face in his brother's shoulder. The older one didn't move, didn't run. He just watched. The leader slowly raised his hands, but his eyes still full of anger. "You think you've won?" he said. The cowboy didn't answer, because this wasn't over yet. Not until the town chose. He lowered his gun slightly, just enough, and then he stepped back. The move shocked everyone. "What are you doing?" someone whispered. The cowboy didn't look back. "This was never my fight alone," he said. Silence. The people looked at each other, then at the men, then at the children. Fear returned for a moment, but this time it didn't stay. One man stepped forward, then another, then more, standing beside the cowboy, not behind him. With him, the leader's confidence cracked. "You're making a mistake," he warned. But no one stepped back. Not now. The cowboy looked at him again. "This town just made its choice," he said. And for the first time, it wasn't about fear anymore. It was about standing up. The street felt different now. Not quieter, stronger. The men who once stood alone in fear were now standing together. The leader looked around. For the first time, uncertain. "You think this changes anything?" he said. But his voice wasn't as strong anymore. The cowboy didn't reply. He didn't need to, because the real answer was standing all around him. The two children still held on to each other, but something had changed in them too. The younger one looked up. "We're not going to be separated, right?" he whispered. The older one shook his head quickly. "No," he said. "Not anymore." His voice wasn't shaking now, not like before. The cowboy glanced back at them, then stepped aside, giving them space, because this moment was theirs. The older boy slowly stepped forward, still holding his brother's hand. He looked at the men, then at the town, then said something no one expected. "If you want one of us." A pause. "You'll have to take both." Silence. Heavy, powerful. The younger one tightened his grip. "I'm not leaving him," he added. The words hit deeper than any gunshot. The crowd felt it, every single person. The leader scoffed. "Brave words," he muttered, but even he couldn't ignore it. because this wasn't fear anymore. This was something stronger. The cowboy's voice broke the silence. You wanted a choice, he said. A pause. Well, here it is. The wind moved again, but this time it didn't feel cold. It felt like something had changed, something real, something lasting, because sometimes the strongest choice is refusing to choose at all. The street stood silent, but this time it wasn't fear, it was strength. The leader looked around again, at the people, at the cowboy, at the two children still standing together, and for the first time, he realized something. He had lost, not in a fight, but in control. You're all making a mistake, he said. But no one moved. No one stepped back. The cowboy took one slow step forward. That's where you're wrong, he said. A pause. This is the first right thing this town's done. Silence. Then the leader let out a breath. Frustrated, defeated. Let's go, he muttered. The other men hesitated. Then slowly, they backed away. No fight, no final shot, because they already knew this wasn't their town anymore. The moment they left, something lifted, like a weight had been carried for too long. The people didn't cheer, didn't celebrate. They just stood there, quiet, processing what had just happened. The younger boy looked up at his brother. We stayed together, he whispered. The older one smiled slightly. Yeah, he said, we did. The cowboy walked over, kneeling down in front of them. You both did more than that, he said softly. You reminded everyone what matters. The boys didn't fully understand, but they felt it, and that was enough. As the sun began to set, the town looked different, not because anything changed around them, but because something changed inside them. The cowboy stood alone for a moment, watching the horizon, then turned back. The children were still there, still together, safe. Sometimes the bravest choice is refusing to lose what matters most. Red Heart,